Hello, my name is Norman, and in this video we are going to install Exchange 2013 in a Windows 2012 domain. We will be using Exchange Cumulative Update 8. Each update version has a different set of prerequisites, but one of the good things about the Exchange setup is any prerequisites that have not been met, it will tell you when you do the setup. I have here a list of the prerequisites that we'll need to install Exchange with Cumulative Update 8. We're going to run a couple of PowerShell commands, and then we're going to install a couple of pieces of software. We get started here by running our PowerShell commands. First, we're going to install the remote administration tools. So I'll open a PowerShell window and install the tools. Next, we have some Windows features that we want to install, and we'll also do that out of a PowerShell command. So I'll just do a copy and paste here, and then put these into PowerShell. It has installed, and there is a restart required. So we'll restart the server, and then we'll add our final prerequisites in order to install Exchange. Okay, we have restarted the server. Now let's attend to our final prerequisites. The .NET Framework 4.5.2 is generally installed in a Windows 2012 environment, so let's just verify that first. I'll go to Local Server, Add Rows and Features, Next, Next, Next. And here we can see that the .NET Framework 4.5 is installed. So with that, now we have two pieces of software that we want to install as well. We want to install the Windows Management Framework, and we want to install the Microsoft Unified Communications Managed API. Now I've downloaded those from Microsoft's site, and I'll just run those, and then we can begin our installation. So first, the Management Framework. That's KB 2799888. Accept the license. The installation is complete and another restart is required. We will reboot the server, and then we will install the Unified Communications Managed APIs. Okay, the server is back up, and now we will install our final prerequisite, and then we can begin the actual Exchange installation. Next, accept the license agreement, and install. We've installed all the prerequisites. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the actual Exchange installation. This is Cumulative Update 8. The prerequisites vary from update to update. Any prerequisite that has not been met, the setup process will notify you, and you'll have a chance to perform those prerequisites at that point in time. Let's go to the install directory, select Setup, and the installation will proceed. So the first screen we have is to check for updates. We'll bypass that at this point. Then we begin a file copy. It's initializing the setup. Here's a little introduction page on Exchange 2013. As you can see, Cumulative Update 8 setup is what we're using. And there's some links down here for additional information. So we'll select Next at this point. We'll accept the EULA and Next. Under recommended settings, we can automatically check online when encountering errors, or we can select to manually configure those settings later. We'll select manual, select next. Now here we're going to add the server roles. We'll take the mailbox row and the client access row, and we will select next. Here's our default location for the files. Next. We'll give our organization a name. We'll call it test to reflect our domain name. Whether or not we want to apply Active Directory split permission security. With split permissions, you separate your domain administration from your Exchange administration. We'll bypass that. Select next. Disable malware screening. We won't do that. Next. Now it's going to double check our prerequisites. Any prerequisites that have not been met will show up in this screen, and we'll have an opportunity to meet those at that time. We have a couple of warnings here. Set a prepare AD. That will be run automatically for both 2007 and 2010. And we can select to install here. There are 15 steps in the installation process, and setup will handle all of those automatically. We won't have to do any more input during the installation. The installation has completed. By selecting this checkbox, we have the option to launch the Administration Center. So we'll launch that now by selecting Finish. And it will open up a web browser and allow us to administer the Exchange installation. Here we are at the Exchange Admin Center. I'll just log in with my username and password. This is where you would manage your Exchange 2013 environment. Here on the left you have these different categories. For each category you select on the left, you get a different set of options in the right-hand pane. Let's validate our configuration by creating some mailboxes and sending some mail. So if we select the plus sign, use a mailbox, we have the option here of using an existing user, someone already in our Active Directory domain, or creating a new user at the same time as we create the mailbox. So I'll begin by creating a new user. And let's just go over to our domain controller just to verify that this particular user does not exist in Active Directory at this point. So here we are in Users and Computers, and here's a list of our users. Let's go back and create a user and then verify that that user exists in Active Directory. We'll call our first user Chris, last name Jones. And for an alias we'll use C Jones. User logon name will be C Jones. And we'll add a password and confirm it. And when we create the user, we'll create the mailbox as well. We'll select Save here. Then we'll go back to our domain controller and verify that that user has been created in AD. We'll refresh. And now we see Chris Jones is now a user in Active Directory. Why don't we create another user while we're here, and then we'll demonstrate creating a mailbox from a user that already exists. So new user, we'll give the user a name, Iris, last name Little, user logon name iLittle, and next, and we'll set a password. Next and finished. Back to our Exchange server, and we're going to add another mailbox. And this time we will select an existing user and browse to AD and select our user here. And select OK. And here we have another user and another user's mailbox. And select Save. And now we have two users and two mailboxes. Now let's verify that our users can send mail. So let me go back to the domain controller, and I will open up a browser and log in as one of our users. So we will go to our Exchange server, https mail.test.net/OWA, and now we will log in as C. Jones, and add the password. And we can select our language and our time zone here and save it. And now we are in C. Jones's mailbox. So we see Chris Jones, inbox, drafts, sent items, deleted items, etc. Now let's go to our Windows 7 client machine. On our client machine, we'll log in as iLittle. Once logged in, we'll go to Microsoft Office, Outlook 2013, and we'll create our email account for iLittle from here. So yes, our name is selected automatically. It will find our Exchange server. And finish. And here we have iLittle's account. First things first, use recommended settings, install updates only, ask me later. We'll choose ask me later since this is just a lab. And here you can see Iris Little, drafts, inbox, sent items, etc. We'll create a new email and we will send this to C. Jones at test.net. Subject is test, message is hey, and we shall send. Now back to our domain controller and check C. Jones. And we can see in our inbox is a message from Iris Little which says hey. Hey, to Chris Jones from Iris Little. Now let's be sure Chris can send mail and Iris can receive. So new mail, iLittle. iLittle at test.net. Subject is test. Message is hey to you too. and we'll send that to iLittle. Back to our Windows 7 machine, and here at our inbox we have a message from Chris. Hey to you too. So we've installed our Exchange server, and we've been able to send mail internally between two different users that we created, one within Active Directory and one from our Exchange server. Now, the next thing that I would like to do is send mail externally. Let's go back to our mail server, and we will go to Mail Flow, Send Connectors, Add, and we'll name this connector Outbound, and for a type we'll select Internet. MX record associated with the recipient domain, we're going to use that one. Next, specify an address space. We will select the type as SMTP, and we'll use a star signifying all domains, and we'll save that. Next, we're going to associate our mail server with this connection. We'll select OK and finish. Now we have a send connector configured to send mail to the internet. So I will return to one of our users and select a new email to an external email recipient. And send. Now to verify this email, let's go to that particular account and verify the mail was received. So we will sign in. And go to our inbox, and we can see that we have received an email from Iris Little, ilittle@test.net. So we have configured our Exchange server, we have configured a send connector, and we have verified that we can send mail both internally and externally with this particular Exchange server. And that's my video on installing Exchange 2013 in the Windows 2012 domain. Thank you very much. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Please give it a like. Thank you, and please stay tuned for future videos.